Darkness and light do not mix. Don't let your own actions or what's in your heart condemn you all. The one who thinks they know it all really knows nothing. It's not about me, it's not about you, but it's always been about Christ. Praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God. So I'm back, guys. As you can see, I am back from my trip. Some of you have asked me about the trip. You know, I do plan to speak of my experiences within a separate video, as well as giving the do's and don'ts, guys, to traveling for those of you who may be relatively new, such as I, guys. But in this video, I just really wanted to speak of my testimony. Guys, bear with me. I do have a peppermint in my mouth. So I wanted to speak of my testimony. I made a video in the past, guys, the original video about, it was titled, "You Are Invited to an Event," guys, stepping out on faith. And this trip was definitely a step out of faith for me, guys, which is why I'm speaking of it. I have never traveled by myself before, guys, especially out of state. And then, you know, it being my first time taking a plane. So, you know, guys, you can only imagine how I felt. You know, if for those of you watched that video, as you was able to see, I was very nervous, guys, and I did not hide that at all. I was very nervous, you know, traveling out, you know, into the world by myself in another state, and out of all the states, it had to be New York, you know, known as the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. Very busy, guys. You know, it's bad all over, but I guess just being in a different environment, being in a different city. So, of course, I was very nervous. I was very fearful. I was wondering how things were going to get done, how I was going to do this, guys. It was really a trip of faith for me. And by the grace of God, not only did I get there safely, I enjoyed myself, guys, and I had a safe flight back. And some other, you know, I returned yesterday, guys. I have another testimony too, like a 2-in-1 testimony video of some things, of some events that occurred yesterday. Now, I'm going to rewind it, guys, back to the beginning. Again, I was very nervous and scared. I had to surrender that fear to the Lord. I knew everything was going to be okay, guys. You know, spiritually, I knew I was going to be okay, but the flesh was still weak, you know. So needing to really surrender that fear and things that I was experiencing, guys, in prayer, just confessing it to the Lord, reading scriptures about anxiety, guys, and speaking the word of God over myself so it could take root. That really and truly helped me. So when the time came, I was really excited. You know, I had no fear. When it was time to actually book up and go, guys, I was excited. I wasn't nervous or anything. You know, made it to the airport safely. My first time getting on the flight. You know, sometimes being at the airport could get a little confusing. It's very crowded and congested. I thought I was going to have experience some problems, guys. They say to get there to the airport 2 hours before your flight. I got there an hour before my flight started, and I made it just in time because my flight was at 7:15 in the morning. I arrived at New York around 9:08. So I got on the plane. You know, my first time flying, I was in the middle, sitting between two individuals, everyone. So I wasn't by the window, or at least I wasn't next to the window. So, you know, the people who were next to me, very friendly and polite, you know, made it known to one woman. It was my first time flying. You know, she was just comforting me and encouraging me. We took off, y'all. And I was, it felt like a roller coaster. And, okay, I'm going to fast forward it, guys, because I'll mention, you know, talk about more in the next coming video. To make a long story short, guys, I was really fearful. I was traveling alone. I was scared to get on the plane. But by the grace of God, I made it, guys, and it was fun. And I had a good time being in a new city, guys. We were in Queens, New York. And you stayed in a hotel room. I had the opportunity to meet Sister Constance. I had the opportunity to just watch her speak at the event, everyone. Had time, you know, to take some photos. You know, I'm not really much of a photo person as far as me specifically. However, I did take some photos, guys. You know, some people get caught up in vanity. There's a balance to everything. You need to know how to balance, you know. So whatever your personal choice is when it comes to taking photos, I took photos, you know. Just have some memories, guys, of what the Lord did throughout that trip. His hand was really heavy on that trip, guys. Very therapeutic. I was able to see more. I was able to see where I stood with the Lord, and things that I can keep improving upon, guys. Not anything pertaining to the trip. You know, sometimes it takes need to get out of an environment that you're used to being in and to get somewhere different so you can grow more, so you can thrive. You know, just having the opportunity to be out on my own. Not like this is my I've been out on my own, guys, as far as living on campus and things, but being out of city, because God forbid if something was to happen, and I was in New York, I couldn't get the family. But here, being in my state, I'll be able to get the family. So, it was just a nice, beautiful experience. Just being around actual good people who have good hearts, guys. The Lord, He knew the right people to send on that trip. So I had the opportunity to see Sister Constance and her family, guys, being able to travel around the city, taking the subways and things. Even in the midst of rush hour, it was something, y'all. So it just goes to show when the Lord wants you to do something, regardless whether you feel you may be prepared or not, because I'm going to be honest, when I planned to go to that trip, I wasn't prepared, guys. I wasn't prepared spiritually. I wasn't prepared financially. I wasn't prepared in none of those areas, but the Lord, He provided every step of the way and He took care of everything, guys. And overall, it was a beautiful and peaceful trip. And it just goes to show when the Lord wants you to do something or He is leading you to do it, He's going to always provide. He's going to always make a way. He knows the right people to send, guys, to you to help you and accommodating you if accommodations are needed, and to just be with you throughout the journey, guys. Really humbling yourself before the Lord. It really and truly is a beautiful blessing, because I know this trip not only served as a healing experience for me, but it's opening up, it broke barriers with me, guys, and getting out of fear, and learning to walk by faith. When you make one move and you have your mind set and determined, guys, you continue to just obey the Lord. When you do your part, He does His part, guys, because He is faithful. And I also find it funny, guys, because for the longest I've stated how I wanted the new King James Version large print. And that's exactly what I got at the event. And not only is it one of my favorite colors, it had my name on it, everyone. And I just thought that was just so sweet, because the Lord knows what you want, guys, before you even mention it, guys. I didn't really talk to the Lord about, hey, Lord, can I pray I want a new KJV Bible. But He knew what I wanted, guys, and that's exactly what He did. It just goes to show His faithfulness, guys. He is a faithful God. Don't be afraid to walk by faith. Don't give into your emotions and your flesh, because that's exactly what the enemy wants. As you know, he thrives and feeds off the flesh, guys. I had fear of what people, particularly family members, would have thought about me traveling out of state, because I was more so of a homebody type person. And then all of a sudden, I'm just up and go to New York. Of course, some family members was concerned, and I had to act out of wisdom of who I made that known to, guys, because I didn't want the enemy to interfere with the plans that God had for me. So really have to act out of wisdom. I had a lot of people who were very concerned about me going, especially with it being my first time. And then I was traveling by myself. A lot of people to New York, a lot of people were very concerned. So I do just thank you guys for the prayers in regards to the event. I really and truly thank you guys. Your prayers really helped me, because they were needed. They were, so I want to speak of the events that occurred yesterday when returning, guys. So everything went good as far as the trip. Now when returning, I got hit back to back to back with the enemy. I get to the airport. Now when I first went to New York, the baggage I was able to have a carry-on, so I didn't have to pay any money to get my luggage stored up under the plane, guys. Usually when your bag weighs a certain amount of pounds, you have to pay $25. When I first went, I didn't have to pay that. I was able to put my luggage on board, and that was that. However, at New York, I stood in line because I wanted to make sure I was going in the right direction. I wasn't standing in the wrong line. To make a long story short, I ended up having to pay the $25 while on the trip. And I was getting a little frustrated because I didn't have to do that at first. I didn't want to miss my flight. I was kind of really moving fast, guys. I had to pay the $25. I had trouble trying to find my entrance, the gate to enter into. I'm asking directions and I'm going back and forth, guys. By that time, I was really getting frustrated. And usually when I get frustrated, I just shed tears. It's not because I was afraid. It's just I needed to surrender that frustration. So being able to just let it out through the tears, that really helped me and calm it down, guys. So I was able to, cry and get the tears out, and everything went smoothly. And then wait to get on the plane. Like right when I'm putting the enter on the plane, I give the woman my boarding pass, and all of a sudden she tells me I wasn't even registered for the flight. Now, mind you, I have to show them my ID and show them my boarding pass to get on, guys. And the boarding pass has the trip confirmation number saying that I'm registered, guys. And I knew it was an attack of the enemy. So what I did was I just stood off to the side. I wasn't even upset. I was just there, and I was just patient, guys. I was actually really calm. considering how I was feeling before with the baggage and then trying to find my way, very frustrated. So I was just very calm, and then I went back up to the woman, and then all of a sudden, out the blue, she says, "Oh, it shows that you're not registered for the trip, but it shows that you went through baggage claim. It showed that you paid the $25." The point being, guys, this had I not paid that $25, I probably would have missed my flight, and then I would be stuck in New York having to wait for the next flight, guys. So I was able to finally get back on the plane. I was getting hit left and right yesterday, and I was getting frustrated. And the Lord allowed that to happen, guys, to not only raise that frustration up and out of me, but to bring the fight out of me. Because just because something may occur or it may appear to be bad, guys, don't mean that it's over and done with. Sometimes you have to keep fighting. I didn't mention this, guys. When I was trying to pay for the bag, pay the $25. At that time, I only had like 5 singles in my pocket, guys. A little money on the card, and I didn't think they were going to take the card. Thankfully, they took that card, guys, and it was by the grace of God, because I was experiencing some problems prior to me using that card before getting to the airport. I didn't make that known, guys. I want to throw that in there. So you can see with the frustration, I had to pay the money. I'm like, oh my goodness, I only had $5 cash, and then I didn't think they was going to take the car. But the card worked, guys, so I was able to pay that $25. And what was good about it was, about that, guys, getting back here, I was able to call Delta, because I flew Delta, and talking with them and being able to get that $25 back, and that's exactly what they did, guys. Getting that $25 back, since I didn't have to pay it while going there. It just goes to show how faithful God really and truly is, guys. And to not be afraid just because it may appear that something is going wrong. When you have God, it's all good with God. It really is. Praise God for what he did yesterday. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to experience this, guys, and being a little frustrated, to just bring out the fight within me and to just not give up, because we have to be willing to fight. Excuse me. We have to be willing to fight for the things that God gives us, guys, because the enemy's going to always attack. This is why we have to keep our guards up, keep the full armor of God on, and keep trusting in God, knowing that all is well. So yeah, guys, I plan to make another video going off into a little bit more detail in regards to trip and things, guys. Something to think about if you're new to flying. And yeah, just wanted to share that beautiful testimony, what the Lord has done, everyone. So, big shout out to Sister Helen, Pastor Helen, and her husband, Arthur Helen, for the event. Again, I'll talk about that in a moment, guys. So, thank you for watching. Much love, and you all be blessed.